fancy so. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello, and welcome back to Seagulls Social, the match preview of Marseille, the last game week in the Europa League group, and it is all to play for still. It's up for grabs. First place is up for grabs, and we are looking at it, and I'm confident we will get it. But before we get into our predictions later in the episode, I'm joined by Ryan Adset, of course. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good, mate. I'm very good. Do you know what? Ignoring the Burnley result, I've got some confidence going into this game. Don't know why. Don't know if I should. Don't know if it's wrong to. But I don't know. Brighton in Europa is good
breed.
Vibes.
It's a different breed, isn't it? Jack, we are joined by Jack Albion once again. Thank God, because it's been a while. You're now a year older as well.
Yeah, my birthday yesterday, so I'm now 20. No, I'm not 42. Oh
yeah.
No, I am 27 years old. So 27 going on 40.
Isn't there a special club for 27?
Yeah, a lot of people die when they turn 27.
Yeah.
So, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain,
Amy
Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse.
Good to know.
Yeah, a lot of people die. So, this could be my last podcast. Who knows?
Fucking hell. Right, let's hope we qualify out of the group before that. That'll be nice. Yeah. Knockout football in Europe could be nice.
Oh,
that'd be a good way to go out. If something has to happen for the last ever time, might as well be European football.
And how was your birthday? I'm sure the people want to know.
Crazy.
Birthday was great. I got some wonderful presents. A Jason Steele shirt. I mean, that's what more could you ask for?
What an absolute steal.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. But yeah, no. Other than that,
that's
it was
a good.
Good. Brighton didn't win on my birthday because that never happens, and I don't think anybody's ever had their team win on their birthday. It seems to just be, and even the women's team didn't win on my birthday weekend, so I was quite disappointed. But other than that, it was great, really. So,
good, man. Good. I guess because we didn't have you on for the other episode, how did you think the Burnley game went? Were you pretty disappointed with that one?
Nah, I wasn't really. I think we probably would have won it if it wasn't for a worldie. I'm quite a positive fan when I look at the results.
That was a deflection, though, wasn't it?
I think it's if it wasn't for a worldie save as well right at the end from James Trafford,
or Thugden.
I think we could have won that. That Matoma shot was fantastic. So I think with the amount of injuries we've got at the moment, we've just got to get through the games. Really, it's not in a sort of negative sense, but we just need to go on to the next game and just wait till we get some more players back. I think we're getting results as they go along, so I'm quite satisfied with how the season's going, really.
Okay, fair enough. Apparently, we're higher in the Premier League now. We've got more points than we have in the Premier League now than we did last season, which is weird to believe because it feels like we're doing worse in a weird way, doesn't it? So that is a strange one. But speaking of results, Marseille, our opponents this Thursday, have been flying since we played them. I remember at the beginning when we got the draw. It seemed like they could be an opponent that we'll probably do the double over because they looked like they were doing very poor. I think they sacked their manager because they were near the bottom of the league. But now, fast forwarding to, what will it be, December 13th, 14th, they're now 6th in the league, the back 3 wins in a row in Liga. Aubameyang's absolutely cooking for them. And now they've got to come to the Amex and play us because they're sitting above us by 1 goal difference in the league, I believe. Well, let me quickly double check that. Oh, no, it's not, is it? 1 point ahead,
no.
1 goal difference ahead, yeah. So, yeah, a win. It's a must win. Ryan, how are you feeling about it? Because this Marseille team is going to be completely different to the one we played a couple months ago.
It will, but then, I don't know. It's, we're a weird team, to be honest. We're really weird. Like, we'll play great one week and then we'll look half the team then the following. And I don't know. I back us in these sort of games. It's a must-win game, isn't it, at the end of the day? It's the old saying must-win game. But this one actually is because we want to top the group. We want to be in the best position possible. So I don't want us to be sort of satisfied with not being in that top bracket, if you know what I mean. So to me, it's a must-win game, but I think De Zerbi will recognise that. Obviously, as we say, I feel like he's really going hard on the Europa League. And I put that little tweet out, didn't I, the other day, just trying to see what people thought as to whether they want the Europa League to be the focus or whether they want the Premier League to be the focus. But in my opinion anyway, I think we need to be going for Europa League and just trying to get as far as we physically can, because it's historic for us, isn't it, at the end of the day?
That's true. That's a tough one, actually, because in my head straight away when you said that, I was thinking, no, I want to focus on the Premier League so we can achieve Europe next season. But then again, we might not get Europe next season, and this might be our only time to do well in Europe and have something to say about. So yes, it's a hard one to call. I can't really make a decision on that one. But Jack, what do you reckon of that point?
Yeah, I want us to go as far as we can in this competition. I'm probably, after being so positive just before, I am a bit of a pessimist when it comes to European football. I think we've got to look at this opportunity that we have to play European football as our only opportunity possibly ever. That's not trying to look negatively that we're never going to do it again, but we've got to look at that opportunity, and I want to go to as many different places.
No, I get you.
I want to go to as many different places as possible, really. And I think we want to get through. We want more trips. It's a hard one. Obviously, we want to win the group. And we'll possibly get an easier draw in the next round. But what I would, if we finish second, we finish second. I think this is a great opportunity. It'll be a great spectacle, because I was worried that this game might just be a dead rubber or whatever, or we're both through, or we're out. And I even worried about the Athens game, especially after the first game. So this will just be two of the best teams in the group, the two best teams in the group, not two of the best teams. We are the two best teams. Just going hell for leather against each other. We've got to go out to attack. I think that's negative for us, because Marseille, a point will do it for them. So they've got to look at the game slightly differently. But if we want to show our attacking prowess to the whole of Europe, then this is the game to do it, really.
That's true. And you're talking about potentially playing an extra game and wanting more trips. I thought it'd be quite nice to take a look at the teams we could potentially face if we do end up finishing second. So this is obviously what the Champions League is looking like now. Yeah, it is interesting, because this could all change over Tuesday, Wednesday. As of filming, it is Monday night. In Group A, currently sitting in third is Galatasaray. That could definitely change with Man United, but we wouldn't get Man United, would we? Let's be honest.
Don't want Galatasaray. That can't be asked
Zaha.
Yeah, I know. Zaha
can't
waking up
as well. He would knock us out 100%.
Winner. Yeah, it's written in the stars if we get.
We could get Copenhagen though.
Would 100% happen.
Yeah, we could still get them. That Group A is kind of is definitely
job interview for Bargy, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's exactly. A very good point. And then in Group B, you got Lens are currently sitting in third, but behind them by 3 points is Seville, and above them I think it's either Lens or Seville in that group. In Group B, PSV probably are going through there.
We don't want Seville. They're the Europa League specialists. They're going to get to the final and probably win it again. So there's no real point of trying to compete with them this early.
I mean, I'm not looking at the matches, so it could be the case that Lens are actually playing Seville as is the last game week, and if Seville should be the favourites in that.
Yes, they are actually.
And then drop down into their favoured competition, the Europa League. So yeah, they're probably the favourites once they drop down. Then Group
not
C,
ideal for us. Not ideal for us.
No. This would be quite a good group, though. Sorry, Ryan, you're quite quiet on my thing. I might be talking over you every time, but I'm not being rude.
No, so you're quite quiet for me as well. There's always some sort of delay on this Riverside app that we use. It's horrible, mate.
Listeners, I did email them literally just before we recorded saying we've had some issues recently. So if there have been points where we're talking over each other, there's been a delay. Hopefully it'll be fixed soon.
Technical difficulties.
It has been difficulties up to my arse, and I hate them for it. Despise them. But we move on. Jack, this would be actually quite a cool trip, simply because of the great big mountain behind the goal, Braga.
Yeah.
That would be quite cool.
Yeah,
that would be a very cool
for
trip.
me. But then, even if in that game, Braga lose and Union Berlin win, that's another fantastic trip. I mean, to be honest, looking down this list of, we'll probably go through it rather than doing it one by one. They're all great trips. Looking at, we could get Shakhtar or Porto, Leipzig or Young Boys.
Shakhtar obviously isn't in Ukraine. They're playing in Hamburg.
No, they play in Hamburg. We are not.
Which is whatever. George Graham's just come back from there, didn't he?
Yeah, I respect the Ukrainian cause, but don't want to go there at the moment. That's not on my list. Then it's Newcastle, Milan, or PSG. Don't really fancy PSG.
I don't want Newcastle. I really don't. We
can't get.
We can't get Newcastle. Don't worry. Yeah, because of the whole English thing.
Oh, can we not?
Not until the quarterfinals.
I don't understand after that stuff. It always confuses me. Right,
To be honest,
okay, I see. That makes sense.
I've been reading it for days and I still don't really understand it. So, Feyenoord.
No, it's confusing.
Feyenoord, Red Bull Salzburg, or Benfica. So, they're all great options and they're all places I'd love to go to. So, I would just think if we want to go as far as we can, we've got to skip this round and win the competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Win the group.
100%.
So, yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be very favourable to the people that don't like hearing the phrase must win game, because there's a lot of them in Brighton. And you only find out when you say must win game to everybody, and then they get really funny about it and say there's no such thing. But in this case, there certainly is. And I think sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but do you think that we need to put more pressure sometimes on these sort of moments? Like, like how we always try and play everything down and remember where we're from and all that sort of thing. But at what point do we start going, no, we want to win. We have to win. We want to get better. When does
really
it change for you guys? I'll start with you, Ben.
Yeah, we don't ever really
That's
get
what I mean.
these big games, the must-win games, unless we're playing. I mean, before the FA Cup semi-final, it's normally the knockouts of the FA Cup, really, because we don't really get many domestic cups usually. So it's but
then you say that, but then there's people that when we're in the FA Cup, sorry to talk over you because it's like this delay again, but when it's the FA Cup, people still are like, yeah, well, it's okay because we're Brighton and we've got this far, so we'll take it. There's still a section of the fan base that think like that. Whereas for me, it's like, no, I don't want to get knocked out. I want us to try and win the thing. I don't care if playing Man City in the final, if playing, I don't know, Sheffield United. All I care about is if we win. I don't know about you, Jack, if you're the same, but at what point does the perspective change from how far we've come to we want to win games?
Very good question. It's a bit of a mountain out of a molehill here, but I'm always of a permanent nervous disposition at games. I mean, Ben stood next to me once or twice, and you know that I'm always like shitting it for a minute going. So the whole idea of a must-win game, even if we're 2-0 going into injury time and we get 3 minutes added time, I go, oh, good, we can't lose this now. So because I'm always working out the worst.
To be fair, I'm the same as you. I am the same as you.
So the idea of a must-win game terrifies me. But one thing I will say is I do agree with you that we do need to start looking at these games and we need to be like, yeah, we need to win them. We obviously need to accept where we come from, and I think even being here is a massive achievement. And I think that's really good for us. But we want to go far in this competition, like I just said. So
yeah, agree.
Let's see how far we can really get. And who knows where we can go to the next bit. And every game is a must-win from now on in this competition. That's the case.
Yeah,
maybe not.
It literally is.
Yeah, if we're 4-0 up in the first leg, then it isn't a must-win. But it's that sort of thing, and this is where the big boys start to come
Still would want to get it over their line, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if we get like Atletico Madrid or like a huge team. It's just be insane.
Wonder much Poletano. Be great.
Oh, mate, that would be.
I mean, for me personally, if I had to pick someone in that Champions League dropout, just solely to visit somewhere for the day out, if you get what I mean. Not that we want to be like that, but let's say, I mean, I've never been to the San Siro, and to be the first time to go to San Siro is to watch Brighton play away. I just don't think there's anything better than that, really.
And then we can actually sing have you ever seen the Palace in Milan? And
exactly. Well. And they have played there irritatingly, so we'll lose on that one.
Oh yeah, of course they still have played there.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've literally been there.
But we could still just sing it ironically. That would be the best part.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think to see us in Milan would be, one of the all-time greatest football stadiums with one of the all-time greatest teams. We'd just probably lose, which is the annoying thing. So for me, they're a bit. It's not a team that I want to play early. I want to. You've got to leave them for the later rounds. We want to get through these games. So for me, if we had to play one of those, it'd probably be Braga or Shakhtar for me. Shakhtar would be great for De Zerbi as well.
Shakhtar would be a very weird. Yeah, I was going to literally say the same as you. That'd be a very weird atmosphere. He'd probably be very emotional that game, I reckon. I can imagine that means a lot to him, that club. I don't think he'd have left otherwise, would he? And that's what's going to be very weird. But yeah, no, I will see.
Mate, honestly, we don't normally talk politics, and I won't go into it too much. But in a weird way, our club has been so affected by Russia invading Ukraine, like the whole Chelsea thing, owners changing, getting Potter leaving because the owner's changing at Chelsea because Abramovich kicked out, and then De Zerbi's not managing his Ukrainian club because of it, and then we end up getting him. It's actually mad how much that one war that Russia have started has affected, well, obviously not just us, but many other clubs as well. And I find it mad. Some people, like a clip from the Russian Premier League went viral with Akinfeev recently, and loads of the comments have been like, how is the Russian league still going on? But obviously they're not. It's a huge place, and they're not exactly under attack too much anyway. But enough about the politics. Let's get back into the football. I know I mentioned him earlier.
I was going to say, this is such a minefield of a conversation.
I know.
That is a minefield. Jack, I'm not going to let you talk on it, otherwise you'll probably say something you shouldn't.
The end of the Seagulls social, cancellation inbound or something dreadful like that.
But I know I mentioned Aubameyang at the beginning. I didn't realise, mate, he's got 7 goals and 3 assists in his last four games for Marseille. That is outrageous. Is that it?
Is that it? Well, there you go.
He's been unbelievable for them recently. A player that we know how good he is.
Mate, do you know what? Do you know what it is? We've always been all right against Aubameyang. And I remember this when we were against Arsenal, when he was like, really, really good for Arsenal. And I remember just saying, Aubameyang's that one big player that doesn't really scare me. And now we're coming to face him, and it's a bit of a different story because it matters so much more. But I just remember that scenario. I always used to say when I was younger, I'd be like, I think it was someone was saying to me that they don't fear Salah as like the biggest player that they don't fear because he never turns up against them. I can't remember who I was talking to now. And I said, I don't fear Aubameyang. And this is before he sort of fell off because he always flopped against us, a bit like Lukaku did for some reason, and Pogba. But yeah.
I'm going to be really boring here and say he has scored against us for Arsenal. If anybody can remember
but he's never really scared me.
Yeah. No.
It wasn't the lockdown game, was it? It wasn't the lockdown game.
He scored when we won
Pepe.
2-1. 2-1 in the first season of the Premier League. And in all fairness, Matty Ryan should have definitely saved that.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember correctly.
Yeah, he did. Oh, my God. That was just before half-time. Yeah, just before half-time in front of the North Stand. And it sort of was such a dodgy goal to give away.
We were in the black kit.
No, we were at home.
That was when Mope... Oh, at home, right.
We were at home. Okay. It was in front of the North. Yeah, no, that was Mope 2019. This is first season when Murray scored that header and Dunk scored from a knockdown, I think it was, from Duffy. Yeah. Or proper.
Oh, mate, that was unbelievable. That was unbelievable scenes.
I don't know. I think watching them at the Velodrome, trying to think back to that game, Aubameyang really couldn't get going in that game. He was really poor of the players that they had.
I didn't realise he was subbed off at one point. I was like, that he was on the pitch. I had to question whether he was on the pitch.
And he and I don't know. I thought Marseille were very impressive in places, but they can't defend. They can't defend for toffee. They played that Ajax team.
Yeah,
that Ajax team that we played and we had no trouble from whatsoever. I don't think I was on a podcast after that one, but it was. They're the worst, one of the worst teams I've seen us play in a good few years in terms of just not bringing anything to the table. No goals, no defending. They weren't particularly good with the ball at their feet. Yet somehow they managed to find a way. I mean,
Burnley at the weekend, didn't it?
Yeah. And Chuba Akpom scored against Marseille. So they definitely have their defensive problems. And if our attack can really play like they should do, I do think some players need a rest, though. That's one thing I will say. I think
highest scoring game of all time this is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Both of us just concede
goals left, right and centre, but score a lot. Yeah. Oh, this is the question, this is really weird, isn't it? Because we concede so many goals, and we concede so many stupid goals at that. But when you look at our defence as individuals, we've got some great individual defenders. And this is really weird because you've got Lewis Dunk, you've got Joel Veltman, not that Veltman played recently, Tarek on his day, obviously, Van Hecke, Igor. I mean, they're all good players, but yet we still concede the most ridiculous goals, usually coming from mistakes or something of the equivalent, where we've just sort of... I can't remember who the guy's name was that scored the other day for Burnley, but he sort of just ran through our midfield. And it's just taken a really... Obert or something like that. And he's taken a huge deflection. It's just typical us. And that's how we concede. We don't concede normal goals. And that's what it's going to be against a Marseille team that's a bit like us, score, concede. We just need to not give them the ball in a stupid position like we have done so many times. And then we should be all right because we should outscore them, I think, based on what we've got, at times.
If I was Gattuso, I would literally say shoot on sight because we are so unlucky with any sort of shot. any deflection. If you've got
sight.
Lewis Dunk throwing all of
Highline
his limbs
shoot
in
on
front
sight.
of the ball, yeah, shoot on sight and you'll be fine. Hopefully Gattuso's not listening to this. Otherwise, he'll have the key to beat us.
Gattuso, don't hurt me if you're listening. You know, you're quite a scary chap. It's quite hard to put my finger on what we're doing wrong at the back. You know, it's a funny one. I think if Marseille, like you said, they can
midfield.
And I think it is the midfield. I think a lot of emphasis has been put on the goalkeeper. You know, people putting it on Verbruggen. I mean, he could have never saved that shot in a million years on Saturday. You know, these are deflections. And I think even people make a big deal out of Jason Steele. Yes, he's not been amazing at commanding his box, but I don't think that's anything too much to do with it. I think we just lack that screen.
Mate, if Steele did what Verbruggen did the other day, I reckon there'd have been way more outrage about it.
Yeah.
And that's just a weird double standard of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think we just don't have that screen in midfield, which means they are able to take shots which deflect off people. And I think this defensive midfield problem is becoming more of a light. And we are starting to see more problems with it because we're just conceding shots. We're getting people into good areas where normally last season Caicedo would have slid in and reclaimed the ball. So I think our ball turnover is quite bad. Yeah.
You could see it from day one against Luton. I remember saying specifically to my dad, we are awful on the counter. And if Luton were half decent at scoring half of their goals on the counter, I remember coming on the podcast saying our transition was horrendous to watch. And obviously last season, that's where we were so strong, was Caicedo, McAllister, you know, they'd be in there crunching. Particularly Caicedo, to be fair. And that's where we've just missed it so much. I mean, it was so obvious from the get-go, and bringing in Baleba it was never going to work now. It might work in, you know, a couple of years' time when Baleba's settled and he's found his position. Obviously, at the minute he's sort of rotating as a centre back, as a sweeper, but it's still, you know, if that is his best position, we're still light, and that's the trouble. I mean, you're relying way too much on players that are playing out of position or aren't confident enough to be in the right system that De Zerbi wants to play anyway.
That's true. That's a good point. And until January comes, then we're still going to be probably having these issues, really, which is the trouble. And
done that before Thursday, though. That's the difference.
And the festive period is going to be so busy as well.
The one thing I will say, I don't think people should have such a meltdown when the team gets announced on Thursday, because I do think a lot of players are going to be rested.
Oh man, it's so annoying.
I think that's just the reality of the situation. You know, we are going to have to probably, you know, Adingra, for example, he looked absolutely battered at the end.
He's played so many minutes recently.
He's played every single game. You know, Matoma, he's already been suffering from fatigue. We know Evan Ferguson will be a great player in the future, but he's 19 and we don't want to overdo him. Or we could have a Lamptey situation in our case where he's pushed so much. So I think all three of those players will probably play, though, mind. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, we've got to go all out attack at this game. So it'll be interesting to see if he does take a few of the younger players and just sort of throw them on and see what happens with them. You know, we obviously have the problem that some of our more prominent youth players can't play in the Europa League because of the homegrown player naming on the bench problem, which is why we've had Duffus on the bench for European games, but not for domestic games. So it'll be interesting to see what options we do have. Like Baker Botie can't sit on the bench despite his good performances. We'll have to put someone else on the bench, which I expect will be Luca Barrington. So it'll be interesting. It's a good shot window for these young players, and it's also great to see young players being trusted and being put into the team. I'd love to see Barrington in the first team. He's done wonders for the under 21s at times. So yeah.
I'd love to see a bit more of Duffus as well, just based on that game where he came on against who were we against? Athens, and he had them two shots he ran through, and I thought, you know, okay, he didn't score, but I thought it looked pretty useful, and you know, it's, as you say, with especially Adingra, and I emphasise this one because he looks so dead, as you say. He looks dead on his feet at the best of times. I think it was the Chelsea game. I just thought how he's still on the pitch, regardless of the fact we need a goal, whatever. I just thought he needs to come off. He's so done. And he's only 21. He's been stretched to his limits. And if anything, I'd probably like him to not start against Marseille, just purely because we are going to kill the guy before Jan. He's going to be
right.
he's going to be picking up an
Cesar
injury before Jan.
Fine.
Yeah, but then we're just going to kill off another option. That's the trouble. So I'd rather us actually go into it with whether it be one of our youth players or whoever, João Pedro even. I don't really mind, but just give Adingra a rest, mate. Honestly, I don't care if he scores yesterday, scores the other day. He still needs some time on the bench, I'm afraid.
An interesting player who I was just going to say, an interesting player who was on the bench in Athens, who I've quite liked when I've watched for the under-21s in sort of a defensive midfield role. So it'd be interesting to see if which is Sammy Shushain.
Didn't he score? He scored recently for
he's always
MK Dons.
Yes, he did scored a penalty there. So it'd be interesting to see if he can get a chance. But yeah, I think it's going to be a funny one. I think the injuries are seriously catching up with us now. So if it does all sort of go a bit wrong, I don't think we quite need the meltdown that we need to. We've just got to take whoever we get in the next round on the chin, really. So
yeah,
that's pessimistic, wasn't it?
Let's get some. This could be pessimistic, Jack. Let's get your score prediction.
Oh well, you got to give it. You got to go with a win, haven't you? You can't predict that we're going to draw because we have to win this game. So I'm going to go with. We'll concede. So I'm going to go with 3-1.
Yeah, everyone's prediction has to be at least one goal for Marseille, by the way. Otherwise, you haven't watched Brighton. Or just really stick your neck out there and say, no, you know what, we're going to keep a clean sheet.
Well, we have in Europe, to be fair.
Yeah.
We've been doing very well at keeping clean sheets in Europe. This would actually be our fourth game in a row.
Against literally the worst team that we've seen in years, in fairness. But yeah, we've kept a clean sheet in Europe.
Ryan?
Clean sheet, 3-0 win. Gonna mean business. We're gonna do the business.
Okay.
And we need it, mate. Do you know what it is? We need I could see De Zerbi's face in the presser just before it all started the other day. He came in and he was just after the game against Brentford and he just said, we finally won at home. And he was like, we finally won at home. And you can tell that it's a burden on them. Of course it is. As much as they don't like to admit it when they're in front of the cameras or post-match interviews, we don't complain, and that's a good thing. But it's a burden, mate. We need to be getting some wins with, convincing style, just like we used to, because we used to do it. And I just think that a perfect opportunity to do it would be an occasion like Marseille, for what it would mean for the club. And just before a crucial period in a festive scene as well. So yeah, 3-0 win. Going to smash them.
Nice. I think I'm going to follow that up as well. I think we get a clean sheet, so I'm going to say 2-0 to Brighton. And yeah, we win the group and we get a nice game week break. Because that means
positivity.
Also,
it
means that we don't have to play an extra 2 games as well, which will be huge. Because
do you know what?
Not to so many games.
Not to revise my prediction, but I did not take into account that we have kept clean sheets in the last 3 European games. Admittedly, both 2 against Ajax and 1 against AEK, where we did have to face a bit of an Alamo. So what we'll do, it'll be just like the Newcastle. We'll be 3-0 up, and then we'll do that thing where we just go, just have one in the last minute, have one in the 90th minute, and then 3-1, So that's what we'll do. But yeah, 3-1.
Cool.
Stick with it.
Positivity, 90 plus 11. Absolutely love to see it.
And, Josh Duffy's hat trick.
Josh Duffy. Him scoring will be brilliant. That'll be for him to wrap it up at the Amex. That'll be a great experience.
Hinchwood, mate. Hinchwood or Duffus getting a goal on a European stage. That's what football's all about, mate. If that happens at the Amex, brilliant, perfect.
And let's get your score predictions in the comments, and also who you'd like to face out the teams we said. Maybe by this point, some teams would have gone through on the Tuesday. If this goes out Tuesday night, so we will see how that goes. But Jack, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Ryan, thanks also for coming on, of course. A new mic. Hope it sounded all right for you guys listening. And we'll see you probably, we'll probably try. Well, we'll try and see you on Friday. The film then, if we can, because we're all very busy people. It's so hard to do this.
I'm on the pitch Friday, so I won't be there.
Should be fun.
Jack won't be there. Well, we'll try and do it.
I should be able to.
Yeah,
I should be able to.
All right. On that note, everyone, enjoy your weeks, enjoy Marseille, and we'll see you in the knockouts of the Europa League. Bye.